Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, excuse me. Welcome to the stream. So, what is happening? You're gonna be like, whoa, why are we starting over again? And the answer is actually quite simple. So, Hearth and Home dropped on September 16th. I've actually played a couple games since then, but I've been spending a lot of time on a couple of other worlds exploring Hearth and Home, so that way when we encounter things in this game, we can talk about them more fully rather than just exploring, right? I wanted to have a little bit of expertise prior to really getting into Hearth and Home on stream. So while I'm playing in the other games, realized that some things had not upgraded properly. So in particular, the key issue that I ran into was that in the primary world that I've been playing in, because I play in 3, I've got 2 servers that I play with 2 different groups of friends, and then I've got this one where I play with you guys. Anyway, the challenge is that there were no onion seeds. 18 chests in the mountains, and not a single onion seed was found. And this is really problematic. So I'm like, I do not want to have that issue on the stream world. So we're going to make the tough call and just rebuild. Now I did keep the same character, so I've still got all the kit that I had in the other game. My stats are basically the same. Wood cutting is a little higher because we've done a bit more wood cutting. Running's a bit higher, axes, what have you. But otherwise, this is the Soggard that we were seeing when we last left the previous world, sucked into the new world. To get us started, I have 4 chests full of wood, so we can do some building today. This is as much of the map as I have explored. So started here, kind of went in this direction, ran into the Black Forest, followed the edge of it, thought that might be a good base location, and then wound up coming to this one that I liked better. So again, we've got some Black Forest here that kind of wraps around. And in fact, I'm pretty sure there's a crypt right around here, which is awesome. So we will do some building, we'll do some foraging, and maybe we'll go and fight Eikthyr, just so we have that trophy again. So what are we going to be working on? Well, we're actually going to clear out, and as much as I hate to say it, we're going to actually destroy these raspberries, which are right here in our lovely little fenced area. I do have some more raspberries in the back here with a couple of beehives in it. Not that the hives and the raspberries have any interaction. I really think they should. Iron Gate, if you watch this, make it happen. Give us raspberry jam. I don't know. Raspberry honey. So anyway, we're going to clear this out. Apparently we're going to sleep first. All my kit's in good shape. Sleep. And I did what I did in the first world. I just found an existing village, repaired a couple of structures, and using that as a starting point for moving forward. My plan is to start with building the storage solution. So my thought is I'm going to build 2 storage units basically right side by side here. Yeah, so let's go ahead. So those are 4x6 structures, and I'm going to basically separate them by a single beam, so they'll be basically adjacent to each other, 2 combined Quonset huts, if you will. And now we just take this up down. Now you might have seen very early on, we've got a workbench in that hut over there. So we are in relatively good shape as far as that goes. We don't need to get too many extra things. And as you can see, this is relatively flat land for building the 2 4x6 structures. So they are 4 wide, 6 deep. And I find that that works quite well for what I want. So let's, what we got here? We've got 70 wood to get started. Got some raspberries, some honey, and boar thigh. So yeah, let's just get to it. Building. Okay. I think start it. My thought here is if I sink this there, right? So this is one of my tricks that I like to use. So I put this down on the side of a hummock, and then when I build off of it, things are a little buried in the ground, right? So the actual corner is going to be right there. We'll go 6, 2. So that's pretty good. And then we'll just come across here. 1, 2, 3. And see, it doesn't matter that there's some not quite so level stuff in between. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a short 2-meter beam and toss. That's the start of the second. So 1, 2. Oops. Six, 1, 2, 6. Yeah, okay, there we go. And we just this one. And I have said before, I really like this method. I can't remember whether it was Zero Star or Fire Spark that turned me on to using the half wall section instead of and I could probably almost throw a third one here if I down the road if I wanted to. So you can see how that works, right? Now, by having that starting point kind of predetermined, it doesn't matter that I mean, I have a pick. I could 100% use a pick to get this the way that I want. But I don't want to use a pick. Because if I was doing this as if I was starting out, I wouldn't have a pick. So this is one of my tricks that I like to use that I've been taught by someone else, and I'm sharing with you now. I don't feel a need to be able to run between these two, so that's fine. I can just use the two of them. I am bad. I'm probably not even going to bother putting doors on them because I always leave them open anyway. Right, floors. Let's just grab some wood. Get the floors down. Carrying too much. Don't carry too much, folks. You don't need to carry that much. There we go. It's pretty close. I don't know how much I cover. I may have to drop something. I'm not encumbered anymore. Now, when I'm doing these, I don't worry about the lattice pattern. It's not. We're not making Damascus here. We're not making. I mean, yes, we're making something that has both form and function as its underlying processes. But this is not a function over form, nor a form over function. We are aiming for a balance of the two. I want functional storage that looks good. Now, why did I pick this location? So, through the many games of Valheim that I have started, both with friends and on my own, I have really come to appreciate the functionality of shipping. So you can cart stuff around, but I find carts are a pain in the arse. And even though you can get them, they're easier to build. I really hate using them when I don't have to. And when it comes to things like the iron and stuff, it's going to be much harder to stack wood to cart iron from swamps. So what I want is I want my storage close to the water. So what I'll do is that building where my workbench is right now is going to come down, and I'm going to build a dock structure over there. And that's going to be where the crafting area is going to be. So yeah, I'm going to whip together these two structures pretty quick. I have not decided if I want to stick with the model of bakehouse that I built in the previous world, or if I'm going to adopt the bakehouse I've been using in the other two worlds I've been playing. What I liked about the last world is it had that kind of epic potential for a centerline hearth that would have just been phenomenal. That's where my door is going to be. So by putting those two down, spacers, I don't have to... It's a cheat. If you don't know this, the half posts can be really good to snap to for spacing if you want to create an entrance between two that kind of straddles two floor pieces, or just to get things positioned where you want. Go. The snapping mechanic is, I feel, quite good in this game. It is sometimes tricky to get stuff lined up, and you have to figure out where the snap points are for each different item. Of course. So there we go. We've got the walls down, and now we need more wood. Wood. The structures themselves aren't too wood heavy. Now, 45s. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with 45s, and then 45s, and then 26s at the top. I feel it gives it a better look, and it opens up a spot kind of opens up a top slot for an extra box, an extra storage chest. So I may not get all of the storage chests placed with the wood that I currently have, and that's fine. My goal here is to have a spot to put the storage chests as we progress. And because I'm more or less the only one, I mean, my buddy Kurt will likely come back and join us down the road. There we go. Just on the side. I do want to try to get all of these placed and the roof on before it rains, so nothing weathers. I mean, you can fix it, but why not avoid it? And I mean, I guess if you want to get technical, it would be most efficient in that way if I was only doing one of these at a time. But given that I have built this particular structure a great many times, I feel... Oh. That kind of leads to another thing, like, do you need to make unique structures every time you play Valheim? And that's honestly a question only you can answer. I feel that for functional buildings, like the storage, I would rather have a good-looking kind of STC, standard template design, rather than worry about having a very unique structure. So next we'll do the roofs. So, easy. So yeah, so this is a standard. This is the standard JSON storage system, stolen from, pretty sure Zero Star was the one thieving the general concept from. So if you are a Valheim fan and have not checked out Zero Star's channel, do so. They have a bucket of builds that are super cool to watch. They don't talk through them. You don't have to listen to anyone. Like, so if you're watching my builds, you're like, oh, I gotta listen to Jason. That sucks. You're probably not sticking around that long then. All right. 26-degree roof. You'll see, like, this is actually this is also a really stable structure. So, like, there's lots of structures that you can do that are not as stable. Now, something I should have done is snap. Oops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little overhang in there. This is not the easiest to do once I've got everything in place. I don't necessarily want a full, there we go. But once I've got the one, it's easier to build off of it. And the reason I like the little overhang is aesthetics. It's aesthetically pleasing, to me at least, to have that little overhang. I can do that. Grab wood, and then do the same thing over here. So using that sheet that I talked about earlier, drop that in there, and then it's just a matter of using that as snap point. And the system will try to snap to it automatically. It's just a little bit harder. It would have been easier if I would have placed it first before I put the first roof tile down. So it might be easier for me to actually nuke that roof tile. Pieces back. That is the problem sometimes with the overlapping sections. They're not always graceful about accepting their place. Oh, your place. Don't need to know this. Can't handle this. All right. So that's the roof. That one. And we are out of wood, so we need to do some more. Finish up the roof section over here. Now, I think what we're going to try to do is get that. Oh, it's going to rain. So this one I'll have some repairing to do. It'll get weathered from the rain. It won't be too bad. Focus on getting it. So a couple of things to note. Roof sections are roof sections, floor sections are not floor sections. Like, well, that's, of course, that's obvious. No, but what I mean is, for instance, if you are, trying to build for your workbench, for instance, you cannot use a floor section in lieu of a roof section. So if you've got a second story that is over top of it, which isn't something we're going to be dealing with in the short term. But will be something later down the road. It's just a good to know. All right, so there we go. So there we've got our sections. This is actually, I don't think anything got too weathered in there, so we're in good shape. Now we finish up. So what I would recommend if you're following this pattern is use the half walls. Oops. Hammer rope. If you use the half walls, you've got a snap point for the floor for the benches, or for the boxes. It's not. You can probably use other cheats, but when you look at it, this is 1 wood, this is 2 wood, so making 2 of those is simple, right? Like you've got it's no additional wood cost. It might be a little more hammer cost. I'm not sure. Haven't really tested that. Definitely more stamina. How full here? Now, as I said before, I'm pretty lucky in that I've got my, well, I guess I need to finish up those ones. And that's kind of one of the things I like to do, is rather than close it in, use the X's to close that stuff in. And if you've seen the builds I did in the other world, that's exactly how I close in the ends of both what wound up being my sleeping area, as well as the kitchen. That's not bad. 500 wood. And I've built the complete exterior, more or less, of both of these, and a good chunk of the interior structure. So let's see where we get to an actual account. Now I had 76 wood at the beginning of this from the inventory, and this doesn't include the boxes, of course, itself. You figure you'll get 2, 4, and I put 1 straight on. So 2, 4, N, so 5 per section, 6 sections, that's 30 times 2 is 60. So that's 600 wood in boxes just there. So keep that in mind. I am not worried about the direction of these half walls. It doesn't matter. If I keep doing stupid stuff like that, I'll be off fixing my hammer again. So the reason that I slip, as it were, on that is because I have rekeyed the deconstruct button to my Z key, or Z key for our American viewers. And the reason I do that is because I really hate using the middle mouse button. It is like back in the old days when your mouse had a legit middle mouse button and it wasn't just a scroll wheel. Like that was a real mouse button. The scroll wheel is not a button. The scroll wheel is a wheel. People, stop making default things on that. Okay, I thought I put my just hold on a second. Did not need the air conditioner on. I thought I had set it on fan, so I just get some nice air into it. So there we go. Interior structure. Oh, I need the floors. Four, five. Full. Stamina. Running out. Stamina. So, out of wood. Let's get some more. So, it's done. So, 600 wood per, that's 1,200 wood just in boxes to fully populate this. I may actually have enough wood for that. Alright, so that is important. And then the label section. So what'll happen is I will put signs above these to indicate what goes in them. And I have all sorts of thoughts about how detailed your sign should be. You, in this case, need to figure out what works best for you. I have not reached any sort of conclusion. I have tried super detailed, but then you kind of run out of space. So you've got 3 shelves. You do not need 3 shelves for something like, I don't know, you really need 5 boxes worth of leather scraps. It's just you in a world? Probably not. You will never use that many. You will probably never use that many. I won't say 100%. I am going to go snooze. Some wood. Just go dry off. Got a fire out there. It's not in here yet for a very reason. That is dark. Over here by the light. It's not bad on my monitor. I have no idea. Your settings are going to vastly manage what that looks like. Oh, I am resting. Comfort 4. Comfort 4. It's not enough. That's what I got for right now. Alright, so I have 66. I can carry 116. Yeah. Now, I am probably also going to extend those off the side. I just haven't figured out for sure if that's what I'm going to do yet. But I am going to start putting in the boxes. Furniture, chest. So this is where your previous zoom level is important. Your previous zoom level is important to us. There's 100 wood gone. I can do one more. Now the good news is I do also have these 4 boxes over here which represent another plethora of boxes. And it's pretty straightforward in that when you're planning this out, I would suggest, depending on how you like to do, I like to have my building materials ready and then build. So it's very mise en place. Everything in its place. If you're a chef, that's what you use. It's kind of the terminology. I'm just what's the word? Conceited enough to use it myself. I want some mise en place. Now I'm also very lucky in in the other worlds that I play in. My fellow Valheim players, Valorians, what do you what do you call someone who plays Valheim? A Valheimer? A wannabe Viking? Yeah, my fellow wannabe Vikings. For whatever reason, really enjoy the resource gathering aspect, which I don't mind. It is definitely not my favorite part of the game, but I don't mind it at all. It's just that if others are willing to do it, I'm willing to let them. I guess that's really what we're saying. Boxes. We have storage inside. I do wish that you could open a chest while you have the hammer. It's one of those little UI issues. I'm sure there's reasons. I'm sure if I thought about it for longer than just long enough to be a bitchy YouTuber about it, it would make sense. But I'm just gonna be, I want it, I don't care why. Oh, that is such... So many people would say that's such a classic YouTuber thing. I'm like 40. I don't care. Alright, so there we go. We got one full storage area. Let's get this one. Now, what am I going to do? So I'm thinking I will likely have one fully dedicated, well, not fully, but like one wall in one of them be fully dedicated to building materials. So I'm thinking, you know, wood, or wood, fine wood, stone. Let's get some more. Maybe get. I mean, 500 left. I'm not worried about getting the signage up just yet. I have not decided how I want to sort this storage. Now, the observant among you would say, but you could probably fit more storage in there, Jason, if you didn't have those walls. And you're probably right. I could probably fit... I could probably fit an extra per rack 2 boxes if I wasn't using the dividers. But the dividers let me more easily label. And more easily. I'm not going to say easily. Because as I said, unless you want this entire stack of 5 to be one thing, it's going to be something else. So, I've come up with a couple of different models for the labeling. I have not decided entirely on how I want to proceed. I'm thinking that I will do a maximum of 2 labels per and stack them. So I get that. Will get it done. Might even have enough room for stairs. My brain is not allowing me to multitask well. All right, so the idea here is that I can stack 2 signs, one on top of the other, kind of offset. So one is aligned with this side, one is aligned with this side, and whatever one is on top is for this chest and the 2 chests on this side. The other one is just for the lower half of this chest. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think that will work. I've had some success with similar models in the various worlds I'm playing in. I do know that 3 is too many. I have tried stacking, so 1 label for the top chest and then 1 label for each stack of the others. That just does not really cut it. Okay, so we are easily going to get those done. That's so 2,000, not quite 2,000. So we will give a final total on these lovely lists. All right, build. So we're going to get rid of those because those will actually hinder your entrance. Because they represent a little bump. So if you're just walking in. So it doesn't really matter most of the time, but if you're like me and you're coming in here overladen from a cart, it's a pain in the ass. You just don't want to deal, man. And sometimes what I'll do is if there is this little bit of I'll do that just to make it easier. So that one doesn't really need it. This one, actually, I might do that in. So just, and then put that in place. It just makes it a little bit easier. All right. So now let's do some more of the decorative elements. So why do we do the decorative bits? Because, I mean, ultimately you do what you want. I mean, unless you're playing in a world with me, in which case, I don't really care what you want. We're going to make it pretty. No, I mean, there's all sorts of ways to play Valheim. You can play however you want. And I mean, this in particular, my quote-unquote slow play series, this slow play stream, like, yeah, you are slow, man. It's about enjoying the game, taking the time to really just enjoy this product from Iron Gate Studios and what you can do with it, and just kind of have a chill time. Just gonna pause that thought for a second. I recommend putting that up first because getting it to snap in place can sometimes be a bugger. Anyway, you can have a chill time, playing a game, and you don't have to worry about too much. So, with the decorations, I really do wish the little knobby piece stuck out. And I'm sure someone will say, oh, but it does if you do X. I just did. Alright, so that's... so now we have the largely completed Quonset storage huts, as I like to refer to them. Now, see, one of the things that I have thought about doing is trying to get these to drop in here, but that is really hard to do at this stage. If I was going to put them in, I needed to put them in. So those are not happening, just on the ends. We have some extra decorative pieces at each end. Now we are going to talk about adding in the overhang. I do like the bit of overhang. It is tricky to get where I want it. There. There. That's where I want. See, this is the challenge. That's the positioning I wanted in. Where it overlaps. But I don't want that much. Oh. Okay. So now it's just going to have it off of the one side. So. Looks like a crafting station over here, just out of range. That is unfortunate. Good. And this, again, is entirely personal choice whether you want to do this. But once you have that in place, if you really foul it up. Oh. You could use that little snapping trick, but I think it looks fun. It is. You know? And realistically, you can do a couple little. You want to spruce it up that last bit. Go. I don't know if I'm going to run it along the edge. I think it just gives it a finish. Right? Actually, sneaky crafting station there. That's one of the things I like to do is like just hide a crafting station around. Just gives me a little more space to do stuff. And if I want to get up here. And getting up here is nice for, you know, popping necks or gulls or boar or railings if they come around. But yeah, so there we go. So we started with 2,076 lumber. We have 4 lumber left. We have 154 lumber left. So let me just grab a calculator here. The grand total for this 1,076 minus 1 equals 1,922 lumber were required for this build. Well, if we... 1912. Now that's, again, no doors. So if we added doors, the wood gate is 12. So that'd be another 48. That's my preferred door. But I'm just going to leave it without. That doesn't include signage, which signs are an additional 2 wood per, so you have 12 slots per, so 24, plus another 48 wood, plus theoretically another 24 for the coal if you used a smelter, or you know, just burning some meat, right? Like I could just grab some meat here, throw it on my cooking surface over on this side, and call it good. But I'm not going to worry about signing that right now. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit more exploring, because that's more exciting. All right, so let's ditch that one piece of wood I've got. Let's put this into our storage facility. Let's become a wood chest. And let's just grab what I got 7 berries, 13. Yeah, we should. Let's just grill up that deer meat. I do like the new food stuff, mostly. I think there's some things that it could do better. But overall, I think it's pretty solid and a decent improvement. And adds a bunch to the game. I really do kind of wish they would have added the next area, like the Mistlands, because I'm a little concerned with what with everything that broke. Well, not everything broke. Like I said, there was that little bit of an issue with the onions not showing up in my one. So that's not the worst ever. Gather some stuff. Now I am using a level 3 flint axe, which I couldn't technically build right now in this world because I don't have access to the upgraded works. I could build upgraded workspace. So we have our Black Forest right here, and putting my base right on the edge of the Black Forest does have some inherent risks. So I should eat some of this. Replenish those wood stocks. Of course. Now, I'm just over here. Like, if you look at my map, this is where my base is. And just over here is this clearing with a bunch of other structures. So down the road, especially once I get access to the stone cutting table, this area I'm going to build up, probably this plateau that I'm on right now, will be a mega structure of some sort, some big stone structure that spans huge swaths of space. My little castle is it. But for now, it's not. It's just empty. And it's getting to nightfall, so I don't want to venture too far into this black forest, but I have spotted over here somewhere. That is a crypt. So we're going to go into there in the morning. I'm just going to zip over here, cut down this log, and zip back to base and rest. It'll a little bit muck up my, the food that I just ate, but that's all right. You'll also notice that, like, you don't see any stumps, and that's not just because I was very dedicated to not leaving stumps behind when I was foresting that 2,000 some odd wood foresting, logging that chunk of woody goodness. It's that I actually only went after the little trees. So just the little, like, one-hit trees, and I'm going to do a video on that where we talk about the economy of cutting down those trees versus cutting down the big trees early game. Because there's a couple of things that you got to worry about. First off, is the tree going to land on you? Because a tree landing on you early game, that sucks. You'd never want to be that guy who's playing with your friends, or that girl, that person, that individual who gets killed because they weren't cautious and a tree landed on them. That sucks. So, instead, if you cut down the little trees, you get more wood for your equivalent swings. You are safe from tree fall, tree death. You will also collect a metric F ton of resin. This is not, like, for early game, I brought like 10 resin with me from my other world, so I just grabbed Soggard, brought them in here. That's not a lot of resin, 10 resin. But this I collected just from logging the little trees, because you get resin almost every time. So that's a really powerful benefit early game when resin is harder to come by. Late game, not so much. Who cares? You probably will have chest after chest after chest of resin, and you'll just like there will be I'm going to dedicate 5 chests to resin because I'll go through it. Well, I won't go through it. I will generate that much resin. And once I have an obliterator, I can get rid of things if I want. You know what? I'm not going to. So, yeah, so we're not going to worry about the deer. So, yeah, I'm going to have lots of resin. It's great for when you've got your sconces. Obviously upgrading those to the braziers is also, there's a benefit to that as well. For now, we're going to go into that crypt, see if we can't get ourselves some cores, because I did not bring cores with me from the other. Oh, it's not entirely true. I brought 1 core because I had it on. The other 5 cores were in my kiln. So it's not a heavily guarded. It doesn't bode well for finding lots of cores. I want like 12 cores. 14 cores. Kind of the minimum. Just cereal crushed. That's scout. Some of the glowy mushrooms. No cores. No cores so far. We are 0. Oh. Right. I also. Oh. Not want to deal with a rancid dead. So that's 8 cores. That's awesome. Rancid dead. Oh, I'm gonna 8 cores is a great start. Yeah. To be fair, I have found as many now, my new maximum, in a single crypt. Oops. Is 18 cores in a single crypt. That's a lot. That's a lovely number to come across. I don't have high hopes that this one would be the same. Alright, so we have 8 cores. That's where we came from. This, yeah. So we have completely explored that. Alright, we've got another door. Yellow mushrooms. So we're at 9 cores. Plus the one I've got back at basic gives me 10 cores. So that's a full smelting setup. It's not bad. So it's a good start to a smelting setup. Okay, so clearly there's more stuff down there. We're gonna go on. Alright. Those things. we are now at 11 certain cores, plus the one I've got 12, 13 certain cores. That is perfect. So what that means is I can... 12, 13... No, it's not. No. Because I want a pair of portals. But 13 is a good start. Now, my normal shtick is that I would drop a... Okay, we'll deal with it. Skeleton trophy, bone fragments. Bone fragments, full inventory. Sweet, roll back to us. And now we're like, oh, storage. We have storage, yay! We don't have it labeled. This is where we start to break things down. So I think what I'm gonna do for some of this is just label like skells. Yeah, do some skeleton stuff. So all the skeleton trophies, etc. will go into one storage area that includes bone fragments and stuff, which we need for upgrading our armor. At least as long as we're in leather. The leather bits. And then let's just do that. A dead railing. Don't know that I can pick anything yet. But I already had wood. Perfect. There we be. A lovely, lovely little trip. So now, just go here. Wood goes in this one. We're gonna probably leave wood, wood, pine wood, or wood, stone. Stone. And this one, put skeleton bits. This one are certain cores. This one, resin. This one, beta. Feathers. And treasury bits. What about food? Food will go over here. So we'll do a little migration. Check our beehives. Bees are happy. Bees are happy. Need to make sure the bees aren't caged in too much, or they will be unhappy, and they will be. The bees need more room. Is the message you want. Don't walk inside. All right, so we need stone, and we need to figure out where we're going to put our smelters. For right now, I actually think we're going to put the smelters right here. Now, what I'm probably going to do is I want to save on my cores until I have enough cores to permanently maintain the crafting station and have some portals up. I'm likely going to just have one or the other up. So I'll start some stone. Probably have enough stone for the box. I have 2%. Stone. I might have cores. I might have all the cores I need. I guess I do. Yes, yes, I do. So, I need some. Oh, I've got a crafting station. Once again, sneaky hidden crafting station. And then we'll go find a rock. There's a rock. Run at the rock. We'll get this. Now you could mine the ground. It's not the most effective. Plus, it doesn't improve your pickaxe skill. Mining rock, like this, slow though it might be. So if we just take a look. Pickaxe. So damage pickaxe, we're 3/4 of the way done. Boom. Pickaxe one. Now I think you could still increase your pickaxe with not that. Oh, and Yunin. Thank you, Yunin. So now I've got to be able to sign it. Sign it up. Still carrying too much. Now, I am a big fan of trying to keep your stuff on as level ground as possible because you will inevitably do the slow man walking. So, we will do those two boxes. This one is wood. This one will hold the coal. I'll grab one more box. Actually, all that wood. This box, hold unprocessed ore. Always fill the smelter first. I am wet. Cannot sleep when you are wet. Rest. That will expedite the processing. I know I'm making air quotes. I don't have the camera. But just know that foolishly I made air quotes when I. Okay. There we go. There. Wood. Now one of the things is it's pretty fast to just hold down the key now. Probably are not faster than you might be, but you don't need to. You can save yourself that little bit. Wood, 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 stone. Move all that. So there's like the first box of resin. Almost 500 resin. Is there any more resin? Treasures. So even without the labels, you know, kind of, you will learn your system, whatever your system is. Just have a system. That's really key. Food I'm going to leave in here for now. You are not food. You are not food. Not food. Not food. Eyes. Well, I think we can probably do hides and scraps together. I've been playing with different mixing and matching of the various options. So, I have my storage solution sorted. I have a crappy shack that I'm living in, but that's fine for now. The next thing to consider is, in my mind, a bakehouse, which I think will probably double as my current shelter. Because the bakehouse, by the time you've got the fireplace, you can decorate it up, you can get some good stuff going. So I think what'll happen is, between now and the next stream, I will gather up another swack of wood, probably another 2,000 wood or so, and build and get ready to build the bakehouse, which I will put right here. Probably, let's, you know, how much wood do we have right now? Probably spec out this. I'm gonna grab some from the kiln. Not even finding it. Let's. So, I want. It's going to be 10 wide. So, I think 10 by 6. So, drop there. I think I'm going to go with the style that I have, say, or the other one. Although I may incorporate some elements that I've put in the other ones, such as not really closing in the rear wall. So that's 1, 2. Yeah. May want to rotate it, but that should be pretty good. And then it winds up being 5 wide, and then there's usually I put a 2 wide. Might be gonna be a slightly different shape, but I think it'll be it'll be a bigger build, like 1700 probably minimum. I'm thinking. Yeah. All right. So that, I think that's going to wrap up this one. I want to do a bit more planning. I need to think a bit more, do a bit more explorating. I won't go and do any copper mining until after we've got a better permanent house for myself. I'm definitely going to have to mine out a chunk of this section, which you don't really probably want to see. Hey, maybe you do. But, so if you do watch this, throw a link in the comments. I probably will leave this world alone for a day or two before I start the next stage of stuff. I don't have left enough space. It might be just enough space for me to put my little porch here. We'll see. The foundation may go in off stream while I plot exactly where that's going to go. But yeah, I think that's it for this. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy it. I mean, obviously this is kind of a restart. That tree's probably going to have to go, which is fine. I've largely not taken any trees out. I haven't taken any trees out yet, so that's all right. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, suggestions about what you think I should be doing with the base, let me know. One of the plans is actually to build a little bridge across here, and there will be a dock going in right out here. I have learned a shallow water dock is better than a deep water dock, and the reason being is that the deep water docks get the worst of the stormy bits. So I may actually pull back some of the land here with the pick, just submerge it a little bit more, and then have the dock run out here. And I want space for probably 2 carves and 2 longboats. So we'll see how that goes. That's definitely going to involve, both that and the bridge are definitely going to involve some core wood, which I will have to go and get, which we will do together on the next stream after we build our big house. Yeah. So I've tried to finish this 3 times now, so let's do it. For real, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and as always, remember to work your wonk and keep it Viking and geeky. Be the geeky Viking. Yeah. All right.